We keep forgetting, okay, to start every show with music, but unlike every other podcast you've ever listened to, I'm not gonna good morning, good morning, good morning, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Let me talk, okay? We gotta start on our song, okay? So the official opening song of Justice's Waiting Room is Edwin Starr's War. So okay, I'll post it in the comments. Okay, you can copy paste that link into YouTube and it'll just play the original music video from 1969. I know people are like, "Oh, you could get a updated video," and I like the old stuff. Okay, okay. So good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room. It's Christmas 2024. Okay, and here's where I'll start. Y'all want a Christmas present nice and early? Okay, you want your Christmas present nice and early? I like to do presents first. Let's do presents first. Here, here, you know what hasn't happened? You know what hasn't happened yet? You know what hasn't happened yet? You know what hasn't happened yet? Pennsylvania and Connecticut haven't certified, baby. Pennsylvania and Connecticut haven't certified, baby. That shit's due today. So what do they got until midnight? Until midnight? I posted the website in the chat. You could just look at the chat. Archives.gov/electoral college. Connecticut and Pennsylvania have not confirmed. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Whoa! Who? Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Whoa! Who? You want another present? You want another present? 61 people in my live. 61 people in my live right now. Couple in the YouTube. Okay. We're excited today. We're excited. Okay. Hmm. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Not again. Yeah. Wow. Good God, y'all. Mm-hmm. You want another present? How about 50 of them? How about 50 of them? Drop and give me 50, Joe. 50 bills signed on Christmas Eve. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden still at the White House on Christmas, y'all. Hmm. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Make sure you're clicking on the links. Morning Star. Sorry you woke up with a migraine. It's a rough start. So those of you that know are coming in late as we roll in. Hey, Connecticut and Pennsylvania have not certified according to archives.gov/electoral college. So that's awesome. And also, Joe Biden signed 50 bills. Rasta says a Russian ship was sunk. Yeah, a cargo ship. Yeah, a Russian cargo ship sunk. Yeah, that's wild. That keeps happening. Yeah, like fuel tankers and like cargo liners. Like, that's wild. Oh, you know what else I read today? The United States knows exactly what North Korea is giving Russia. Hmm. Yeah, like down to how many missile systems. Yeah, that's interesting. Up, 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 up. You remember how Christian Cinema put the NLRB at risk? You remember that? Do you guys remember Kristen Cinema, who I also fucking hate? Yeah, yeah. Remember Kristen Cinema? Remember Kristen Cinema? Broke the law. Broke the law. Yep, 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 yep. Watchdog group says citizens for responsibility and ethics in Washington. And obviously we gotta talk about bad news because there is bad news. Okay, we wake up to it every day. Um, on Christmas, and you gotta understand that like Russia, Ukraine, they're like 7 hours ahead of us. Okay, so right now it's 11:05 a.m. Eastern where I am. Okay, and they're 7 hours ahead of me right now, so it's like 6 o'clock at night there. Okay, but this morning on Christmas morning, Russia used missiles and drones in Ukraine. Okay. Morningstar said, "Have you seen the structure in front of the White House? Some say it's for inauguration. Some say it will be removed before January 20th. So I guess we'll see who's right." So a lot of people are speculating. I'm not willing to do so. I look at permitting, and from what I understand, there are no additional fencing at the Capitol building, and the additional fencing is around the White House, from what I understand, which also fits the Division 2, which I talk about a lot. So yeah, 91 people in here. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Hanukkah. I hope that Hanukkah, it has two Ks. Hey, enjoy your Festival of Lights. Okay. So 93 people in here. Just want to say, hey, Merry Christmas. Remember to listen to Edwin Starr's War. That is the opening song for this podcast, Justice's Waiting Room. And speaking of that, okay, the first story of the day. Hey, Merry Christmas, Detroit. Okay, first story of the day. Joe Biden signed 50 bills into law on Christmas Eve. You know what I can't get? A list of all 50 bills that Joe Biden signed into law on Christmas Eve. So I think that's an interesting point and is going to be remain an interesting point all day. Is I've seen all the articles, okay? So a bunch of people are going to be like, Jared, you didn't do your research. No, I clicked every link. Every link. There's like six major news outlets have written a story about Joe Biden citing 50 laws into or bills into law last night. I didn't find 50 when I looked. Okay. So I think that's crazy. Okay. I could find less than 10. Okay. And I can almost name them. Okay. So that's where we are. 50 bills were signed into law last night, and I couldn't tell you what 40 of them are. 45 of them are. Okay. Yeah. Rasta said I only found a few. Okay. Look, I got up this morning. I was up at 3:23. Okay. Okay. I am a little bundled up today, but this is a Nike jacket that one of my players gave me when I coached football semi pro. One of my players bought this at an outlet. It's like dope ass Jordan. It's doesn't have a hood on it or nothing. But one of my players bought it for me. It's the baddest fuck. Well, like I'd never wear it, right? Except like for those of y'all that don't know, my furnace is off. I need to say it correctly because people have already, in my eyes, have offered too much, right? Joe Biden did. People have offered. Some guy offered to fly here to help me from South Carolina. Somebody offered to buy me a new furnace, and for the record, said I would have also bought you the tankless water heater too. And I was like, I don't fucking need it. My shit isn't broken. Okay, I turned the gas off to my furnace, and it killed the pilot to my water heater. Okay, so I just like turned it to pilot, held it down, lit my pilot, right, let it go for a minute, and then turned the gas on. Whoosh, we got fucking hot water in an hour. Okay, so I took a hot shower before bed last night. Okay, okay. We got one of my ardent supporters. I would call them like family. Jilly, if you're out there, salute. She bought my wife and I a ceramic space heater, and they're too much. Like it's so hot. It's actually hot. It's actually hot in the rooms that the heater's in. Which is awesome. I've never had a space heater in my life. I mean, call me fortunate. I made it to 41 years old and never needed a space heater. It was never in need. And for those of you like right when I say that, you're like, Dick, it's climate change, you fucks. Like we haven't had winter in 10 years. Like I'll just be dead ass. In 2014 in Indianapolis, we got 9 inches of fucking ice, and I'm dead serious. You ask anyone that's lived here since 2014, we haven't had a semblance of that in a decade. And it's not like it's coming. Okay? So it's going to be like 50 or higher basically the next week. The week of Christmas here. So it's going to be warm January, warm February, you know what I mean? So like for anybody wondering, the house next door to me is for sale. So if anybody really wants to be my neighbor, you're on the like end of the group of people that's going to be able to buy a house. If you ever were looking for a low maintenance house that's built for someone that's like handicapped, the house next door to me is for sale. The old couple that lived in it perished. For the record, he was an Air Force veteran, and he never spoke to me. And he's kind of a dick, like based on his behavior. But that house is for sale, and so if anybody's like, I want to be your neighbor, like I'm just throwing that out there. Like house next door to me is for sale. But yeah, somebody said it didn't make sense signing all them bills on. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So what it does here before like the January 3rd or whatever, or 6th or 20th or whatever, that puts a ton of pressure on people, right? It puts a ton of pressure on people to they got to do their research. They got to figure out Indianapolis, Indiana, and Lawrence. Hmm. Yeah, we live in what is like old Geist. And like I said, I bought my house pretty strategically because my house is on the top of the hill in a small residential neighborhood. My house is at the apex. Okay, so all the water runs down and away. Okay, pair that with us not having precipitation in like a fucking decades. It's gone down in the low 30s here in Florida in previous winters. Crazy. Okay. So he said, no way I'd move to Indiana. Yeah, people say that. People mostly are homebodies now. I don't think it really matters where you live anymore. I don't think it matters where you live. I think lots of our life experiences are going to be very similar. Hmm. The only thing that's different is how long it takes you to get to do different stuff. I know that isn't what you wanted to hear. But yeah, I think there's lots of news, lots of things that are very interesting. I'm going to keep refreshing the archives.gov. Yeah, as long as it's affordable, true. And for the record, I cook food. We eat out every now and then. But I'm I'm walking distance from a Little Caesars, walking distance from a Burger King, and Taco Bell if I wanted it. Try not to eat so much Taco Bell. At least Burger King uses real beef. At least that's the rumor. And Little Caesars is good when you just need a quick pizza or something and cheap. But yeah, the main story for me for today, okay? And I don't expect you'll hear this on mainstream media. So for everybody wondering like why aren't they talking about this on the news? Because they don't want to send people into a panic. Okay? So I'm here as a means of de-escalation, as a means of informing the public. This is publicly available information. I do not have a clearance. I am not on active duty. I do not work for any of these agencies. But you'll also notice I'm not critical of them. My entire family is fucking law enforcement, is and has been. Okay? And I'm not bullshitting. I'm not talking about local PD, fucking sheriff's deputy, all the disrespect in the world. I'm talking about like the first canine officer in Indiana. His name's Frank McIntosh. That's my fucking uncle and my mom's brother. The first canine officer in Indiana. His son Scott owned a ranch in Kentucky that trained police dogs. They probably still train police dogs. Okay? And then my other that cousin also worked for the DEA. Which a lot of people are like, ooh, he worked for the DEA. Yeah, like meth trafficking. That's like the big fight on the Ohio River. Um, yeah, they like make it in other states and take it across the river. Yeah. So, um, I have my dad's sister, the one that he graped, was an FBI analyst for 18 years, and her husband was a detective in Detroit for as long as I think he retired from Detroit PD, which for the record is bad fucking ass. So that's why I always say, like, not local PD, not sheriff's deputy. No, no, the chief of police in Rising Sun, Indiana for 20 fucking years was Frank McIntosh. And they had the first casino in Indiana, the Grand Victoria, in his town. Fucking great human being. Kept that town in order. A very small town in southeastern Indiana was the first like land-based casino in Indiana. Hmm? Isn't that a fucking interesting story? So when I tell you I got law enforcement, and it's not like I'm talking to them. It's not like I'm talking to them. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like being in the same room, knowing who these people are, how they behave, how they think, like, and also understanding like the opposition are like immature children, effectively, right? Where you literally, it's like, how are we punching down and they're beating us? Like, I don't understand. That's how I feel. I don't know about anybody else. Like, I'm on like the this shit's written down and it's fucking law. What are we talking about, right? And the other team's like, fuck the law. Like, I don't, what? You live in this polite society. You choose not to abide by its rules. Like, fucking planet are you on? Like, you don't get to pick that. Like, that's not when you made your character for this particular playthrough. Like, why are we restricted for a large audience? Visibility restricted? We got to reset. We got to reset. I was talking about video games. You got to find my YouTube. You got to find my YouTube. I'm resetting. By the way, you want to hear something that make your eyes spin? Oh, there's nobody here. Hello, hello, hello. Merry Christmas. Twom said Merry Christmas. Sorry, people are standing premise and profoundly irritating. It's actually the thing about it is it's bothering the people that I've gotten close to that are like my moderators, the people that like work for me right now for free that are probably, and I could just tell you, we are all working much harder at this free show that you get to listen to every day on multiple platforms. Um, we're doing it for free. There's no money involved. And I'm not going to gussy myself up and I'm not going to sell out to be more visually appealing to get more eyeballs on my content. I told you, it's a matter of national and international security. The things that we are talking about like are such sensitive issues that we should have trouble getting our message out. We should have people that are literally going to steal our work and reproduce it and not attribute it to us to alleviate legal ramification. So, one of the things that stealing other people's premises and work is if your work is getting more attention than my work is getting and you didn't attribute that to me and you stole my premise, I get to one of the things that I learned because my best friend is a lawyer. It's called like failure to abdicate. And so like normally it's my responsibility to source my work, right? But if you are stealing my work and reproducing it and saying the same thing and referencing the same things, uh What I get to do is I get to abdicate my responsibility, and I get to say, "Oh, you stole that from me." But because you didn't just attribute it to me and give me the credit that I deserve as someone who does a great deal of journalism and research, and I'm reporting facts to you. So when I'm reporting facts to you and I'm up before everybody, my first posts on TikTok are live before most of your favorite creators are awake. I am on my third or fourth piece, and I have already been live by the time most of these chuds wake up. So when they wake up and they see my content and then they go to the same places I've been and they start reproducing that material and they're not sourcing me, guess what I get to do? Abdicate my responsibility to maintain journalistic integrity. So because you're stealing from me and not attributing to me and not just having a conversation with me about the work that I'm doing and thanking me for being such a good journalist and waking up in the morning and doing the hard research so that I have something to report to you, right? And instead of them reaching out or them tagging me and saying, Jared made this great video, you should go watch it, but here's my thoughts on that, they'd get the same content. They would get the same amount of clicks, right? They got a little more production in their material. They got words on the screen and graphics and shit. I went to school for graphic design. Guess what people who watch the news don't give a shit about? What it looked like. You get what I'm saying? People that actually care about this, they don't care about that. They don't care about this. This doesn't mean anything to you. I'm a married man. I'm a happily married man. I'm not available to you. Right? So, as long as I'm telling you the truth and I'm doing my research, right? Hey, Betsy. Hey, Carl. Okay. Understand if you want to listen to my podcast straight through and you don't want to have any interruptions, you need to click the only link in my profile and go to my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, turn the notifications on. I also co-stream my podcast on YouTube Live. Okay? And you know how I post links in the comments here on TikTok and you can't just click on it and go there? If you're on the YouTube Live, those links are clickable. And I think that's just a quality of life improvement. Okay? Okay. So again, keep in mind, my mods who work for free are catching people listening to my live, stealing my premise, and delivering it to people. Okay? So understand, it's super scummy. It's super scummy to come into my live podcast and steal my premise and use it as your own without attributing it to me. And the problem that you're going to have if you're stealing my premise and you're stealing my work and my sources and you're not attributing it to me. If you ever report something and there are legal ramifications and you try to point your finger at me because you did not attribute that to me when you produced it, I get to abdicate my responsibilities as a journalist. And I get to say, I don't have to prove shit. I'm not being charged. You didn't tag me. You didn't attribute that to me. So understand that, okay? When you steal people's work, you give me an out to not protect you. To not protect you. It's not my job. Savvy? Yeah, I was going to say, Cody, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, that's a cute picture. Okay, here's a cute picture for Christmas stuff. I have a soft spot for Christmas. Okay? So for those of you wondering, I don't give a shit. Here's the way I work though. There's no straddling the line here. It's either you can continue to sit in my live podcast and you can continue to consume my content, or you can remove me, don't watch my shit, and go watch the people that are stealing from me. Okay? And what's going to happen to them is their content's going to repeatedly get taken down, and it won't be by me. I don't have to do anything because I'm the root of this tree. I am the one doing the research. My team's not doing that research for me. Logan, no, Nope. Nope. No. It is wholly inappropriate. Brother, I have blocked you on multiple platforms. The next time I see you, there I will be contacting the police. Okay? You are now harassing me. I have blocked multiple accounts on multiple platforms. You keep you keep contacting me. It's wholly inappropriate. Wholly inappropriate. I don't need friends that bad. Did you get the picture of the Obamas? But yeah, I wanna make sure we post this so that you can go see for yourself. Okay. Here's archives.gov. Okay. .gov means it's good. Okay. Where you can just see for yourself. Hey, look, archives.gov. Likely alien. AC. Likely alien. Same as pretty much everywhere else. Oh, and hey, here's the thing that isn't being reported that I can tell you that someone that works for the federal government told me. Okay? And so keep in mind if you see this reproduced by Empress CJJ or Raw Cognizance or anyone affiliated with them that is a link sharer for them, understand it's wholly inappropriate for you to do that. Okay? Um, you know how during the election we were told that there were 67 bomb threats. There were 80 bomb threats. There were 88 bomb threats. A little birdie told me that works for the federal government that it was actually 217 bomb threats nationwide, and that it wasn't just majority black polling places, it was cities in the United States with majority black population and a major minority white wealthy population. They typically vote Democrat. Just so you understand, just so you understand, if white people would just go to college and get a degree and get a good job, they tend to vote Democrat. But what happened was No Child Left Behind, where George Bush, if I remember this wrong, you could tell me, but I'm pretty sure George Bush signed No Child Left Behind, and with the goal was to increase the high school graduation rate. And the problem with ramming kids through high school is they don't have the goals of going to college. And as someone that has been in college in 3 separate decades, I went to Purdue University in West Lafayette in 2002. I was a DeVry student on campus in Indianapolis, and I am now finishing, and that was in 2010 to 2012. Okay. And then I got a degree, and then I am inside a 1 year remaining for a data analytics degree from Purdue. Okay. So I've been in school 3 separate decades, and I can tell you that the smarter I get, the more liberal I become. The more that I read about history, that I read about books. No, what? What your shit says the future burns bright and you say educated is indoctrinated? Yeah, how about the dumbest shit I will hear all day? The fuck. Educated equals indoctrinated. You're out of your motherfucking mind. How about like able to spot your bullshit from a mile away? Purdue Owl. How about that? Purdue Owl. You you should look that up before you tell me that educated equals indoctrinated. Purdue Owl is how you learn how to verify sources and how to source your content. Yeah, yeah, and that's what you're afraid of. Consider that there are 40 trans athletes in all of sport. That's high school, college, and professional. 40. Your transphobia is over unicorns and fucking leprechauns and shit. And I know there's going to be that idiot out there that's like, you just compared trans people to leprechauns and unicorns because they're fucking special. Are you playing fuck games? I can do that. Okay. Purdue owl. Yeah. Purdue owl. Mhm. Owl like the bird and Purdue like university, not like Purdue Pharma, okay? Now, okay? Now, what we got to talk about today that's really important because everybody's wondering like why are you live right now? I know you're all wondering that, right? I want to see in the comments. There's 90 people in here. There's like 12 in my YouTube. I want to see the comments. Why do you think I'm live right now? Why am I live right now? It's not because I need the money, okay? There's not a financial incentive to be here, okay? Why am I here today? I gave you the first reason. Pennsylvania and Connecticut have not certified this election. Okay? That should be a big tell. Okay? I gave you the link. It's literally pinned. Archives.gov/electoral college, and you scroll down. You can't go to Connecticut's and you can't go to Pennsylvania's. Okay? So that link that I'm sharing, you can just keep. Hey, you don't even got to worry about me, right? You don't even got to worry about me. You could go to that website and refresh that every now and then, and until you can click on a PDF for Connecticut and Pennsylvania, they haven't certified. That's due today. So I just want to make sure that you know, I don't, baby girl, I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for the attention. I ain't here for the clicks. I ain't here for the likes. I don't care if you share it. I don't care if you follow me. I'm here because we live in unprecedented times. We are in murky fucking water. You need someone that's willing to talk to you in fact mode. Hey, ought to be setting off alarm bells in your head, right? B says Pennsylvania is a very corrupt state. What? Okay? But also, it can't just be that. It can't just be that. That can't be the only reason I went live. I'm also live today, okay? Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are still at the White House, okay? Joe Biden signed 50 bills into effect last night, and I can't find all 50, okay? I can't find all 50. I can find a handful of these, okay? And there's a lot of people that are asking me right now, like, hey, is there anything else? Because they're like, I've heard this already. Yeah. Yeah, there's more. See, what I'm doing is there's rats. I got a rat problem. And the part of the way you deal with rats is I make you sit and wait. I'll make you wait it out. What's he talking about? Right? Because you could already make a video about archives.gov has not certified the Connecticut nor Pennsylvania, right? But I got a rat problem. So I'm dredging rats right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm making your ears bleed. He's saying the same thing. I can't stand it. Rat. That's what I'm doing. I got a rat problem. I'm getting rid of rats. I'm making their ears bleed. I'm making them. People that aren't here in earnest are going to get irritated. People that aren't on my team, aren't about me, they're gonna get irritated. They're gonna be like, "Hey, you already said that shit." Okay. So what I wanted to point out that I found is this link. Little Reddit link. Okay? Little Reddit link. Okay? Little story. Posted yesterday. Okay? Posted yesterday. Make sure you like this shit, share this shit. Make sure you tap that screen every time I make something that feels good in your ear holes. Okay? Every time you're like, oh my God, I love it. Okay? So that link that I just put in my comments is to a Reddit post titled Possible Fines in Regard to Executive Order 13848. And what I spent my morning doing was clicking on the links here to verify the content of the post. They're all linked. There's 5 links: the Treasury, the Foreign Assets Control Office, the U.S. Code, the updating provisions, blah, 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 on that link that I just posted. So what I was doing is kind of read, and I see that U.S. Code 50. Okay? Okay? U.S. Code 50. War and National Defense, Chapter 35, International Emergency Economic Powers. Okay? Got updated on December 19th. And what I find interesting, and think about what I am saying to you. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are still in the White House. Joe Biden signed 50 bills into law last night, and I can't get a list of all 50. Connecticut and Pennsylvania have not certified. And if you look at U.S. Code 50, which was changed on December 19th, it added a provision 1710 confronting asymmetric and malicious cyber activities. I think that's interesting. That just got updated like 6 days ago. Malicious cyber activities? You mean like on elections? And then I was on Twitter, and remember, I'm not actually on Twitter. Okay? Not actually on Twitter. Okay? I'm just a lurker. But I was doing my rounds on Twitter, just kind of clicking, and you know what I saw this morning? That I was like, wait, that's a big deal. Huh. I see Interpol. Okay. Yesterday, about 6:30, post this. And I'll be damned. I'll be damned. If the U.S. didn't update U.S. Code 50 to include confronting malicious cyber crimes, Interpol welcomes the adoption of UN Convention Against Cybercrime by the General Assembly as a significant milestone in the fight against cyber threats. The first legally binding UN instrument on cybercrime is the product of 5 years of government negotiations. So I'm going to give you the fucking rundown, and the story is cohesive. Do you understand how the things I'm telling you, they go like they weave together? Do you understand? Do you understand? If you go to archives.gov, Pennsylvania and Connecticut have not certified. That's due today. That due date is today. Okay? Joe Biden signed 50 bills into law last night, and I can't find a list of all 50. That's weird. Also, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are still at the White House on Christmas. Also, within the week, the U.S. made a change and update to U.S. Code 50 to include confronting malicious cybercrime. Meanwhile, yesterday, Interpol and the UN are not the same. That ain't the same building. Them ain't the same people. They are working together. Interpol is international police. Chef Esquire says the Senate and House would have had to pass those in order for Biden to sign them, and that is correct. Yep. It's very telling that they're working through the holidays. It's very telling that within 1 week of each other, the U.S. made changes to Code U.S. Code 50 to include Section 1710 and Chapter 35, talking about confronting malicious cybercrime. Interpol announces a partnership with the UN over cybercrime. Because they canceled their vacation trips and they're still in the White House area and their schedules are available online. So the president and the vice president have a tracker and their schedule is public. So you'll know where they are and what their availability looks like and what their public schedule is. I can find tons of all major news sources are basically producing the same story right now. They're talking about the handful of bills that we know about. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you can go look CBS News, Fox, MSNBC. I read them all. You can find a handful. The anti-hazing law. You could find. Let's see what else we could find. Okay. Joe Biden, 50 bills. Okay. Let's look. Like CBS News says. I'll fix it. Paris Hilton's bill to protect teenagers living in residential treatment facilities. This is to attack a home in St. Louis that has a bunch of uh, teenage girls that are escaping environments, going through some shit, and this is gonna help let some assets and some police and some uniform badged people go fix that. Uh, Paris Hilton, by the way, is the force behind the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act. So, for the record, people always shit on Paris Hilton back when she was in her heyday, but now she's passing like legislature to stop child abuse and to protect teenagers living in residential treatment facilities. So, you could be a motherfucking hater. And then another measure he signed was S 932. So, this is significant. Again, I fully expect people to rip this off, to not attribute this good research to me. But Joe Biden also passed S 932, which prohibits members of Congress convicted of crimes related to public corruption from receiving their retirement payment. So all these people currently in elected office that are all committing hellacious crime in the background, when they get found out, they give up their pension. So that's a great fucking law, and that passed the House and Senate, and he signed it into law. Okay, they signed the Stop Campus Hazing Act. Okay, it requires higher education institutions to disclose hazing incidents reported to campus and local police authorities in their annual security reports. Hey, okay. S 4610 makes the bald eagle the official bird of the U.S. Okay. President granted clemency to 37 of the 40 inmates facing federal death row sentences, facing death sentence. Okay. And a lot of people are focusing on what didn't happen, and they're talking about how hey, that's just a cold block. Like, nah, no. I posted links in the chat. If you're not gonna click the link and read the material, don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. I explained it very clearly. I don't like stupid questions. It makes me feel like I'm feeding you the information that you use to create content that you're stealing from me. Yeah. So when you don't ask good questions, it makes me suspicious. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there's you could here's a good link. This is what I was talking about, how I can get a list of shit. Okay? Here's a list of shit. But it ain't 50. It's not even 10. Okay? I don't even think we can get to 10. I don't think there's 10 bills that he signed yesterday that are public. Okay? But yeah, when you come into my chat, I'm not seeing any of your links. Okay, well, there aren't links in TikTok chat. Okay? You're just going to see text from me that looks like an exterior link, and you can copy and paste that. If you want to click on links and to go to places, I'm also co-streaming live on YouTube. It's the only link in my fucking bio. And you, instead of having to copy and paste, I can take that step out of it. You could join the YouTube live, okay, which is a smaller chat room. There's 233 people in here. Marine Corps infantry, Sonny. And so yeah, people came in here and asked questions, and it got me a little incensed because that felt like a suspicious sentence. But on the 19th, there was a change made to U.S. Code 50, Chapter 35, added Section 1710 to confront malicious cyber attacks. We'll put a pin in that. And then this link from yesterday about 6:30 from Interpol is significant. Okay. Okay. This link is significant because yesterday, about 6:30, Interpol adopted the UN Convention against cybercrime by the General Assembly as a significant milestone in the fight against cyber threats. And I think that's connected. Yep. Devin says got to be connected with NATO Article 5. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. A lot of people are going to ask me about Jackie Singh, currently tussling with former federal law enforcement, both nationally and internationally, on social media. And I want you to understand something. She's in danger. And when you're in danger and you're backed into a corner, everyone looks like the enemy. So understand when you see people that are whistleblowers having a hard time because they're being confronted, right? And they're being combative. There's a reason for that. Okay? There's a reason for that. So for the record, I want to point out that the Midas touch in the last 24 to 48 hours has done a complete heel spin on the 14th Amendment, specifically as it relates to Article 3. I have a feeling that's because that constitutional lawyer got on Jessica Denson's podcast, and now she's had multiple constitutional lawyers get on her podcast and talk about how Donald Trump is not eligible for office as a result of the 14th Amendment, Article 3. Okay? So understand that 3 days ago, Michael Popak, who is as far as my research, he's a personal injury attorney in Boca Raton, Florida, was saying that Donald Trump cannot be disqualified from office as a result of the 14th Amendment, Article 3. And let me explain this to you, because this is for entertainment purposes only, and I am not a lawyer. But Michael Popak's, like, the way he spoke about the 14th Amendment, Article 3, I could beat him in a courtroom. That's how I feel. Like, based on that conversation, I would love to be on the other side of the courtroom from you. No, I have no questions on whether or not I could outsmart you. Okay? And the reason was his explanation was something along of the yep. His explanation was something along the lines of it was like he was reading it wrong. Okay? He was effectually saying that the states the states made it so that they can't rule that or some shit like that. It was just like that's not what it says. Okay, what it effectually does, what the 14th Amendment Article 3 does. If any of you have ever played video games, you'll understand what a hex or a curse is. Or if you're like play D&D, video games, board games, RPGs, you could get a curse. Or if you read, or if you've ever read a book in your life, like the Scarlet Letter, so what the 14th Amendment Article 3 is, as it refers to Donald Trump, is it's a scarlet letter. And so he is wearing a scarlet letter of disqualification. He wears it everywhere he goes. He is disqualified from taking office. He can run. The Colorado ruling said that they couldn't take him off the ballot, right? The Colorado ruling said you can't take him off the ballot. Yeah, because there's no rule that says you can't run for office. Okay? There's also no rule that says you can't be the fucking president-elect. Because guess what? President-elect ain't a job. That's not a title. Savvy? He ain't getting paid. Okay? So he can run, he can win, but he can't actually take the fucking job. And I'm telling you, I'm not a lawyer, but here's who I'm willing to hear. Okay? Yes. Yes. He what? He will what? He will what? Yep. Funny one, that the dumbest shit I've heard today. I'm not even going to justify that by talking about that. Okay? Yeah. I'm only willing to hear constitutional lawyers, okay? Constitutional lawyers or officials, like federal officials. Okay? But if you're a personal injury attorney from Boca Raton, Florida that works for Midas Touch, who's trying to grow a brand and trying not to divide their audience, they're going to get some hack on there that's going to tell you that Donald Trump can still be president. But what happened? Within 24 hours of that, Jessica Denson gets a constitutional lawyer on there who absolutely rammed the 14th Amendment, Article 3, all the way down Donald Trump's throat. Okay? And then understand that in the last 48 hours, so that I went from 3 days ago now to 2 days ago and yesterday, in the last 48 hours, Midas Touch has 2 videos on YouTube talking about how Donald Trump's disqualified from office. So understand, up until 3 days ago, 2 days ago, Midas Touch was saying anti-Trump live. It's wild specifically to be anti-Trump. I'm anti-traitor. I'm anti-foreign influence of our elections, whether it's Russia, Israel, Iran, I don't care. Get the fuck out of my elections. Okay? But yeah. So everybody knows I'm anti-American. No, I'm anti-traitors. You understand? It's not anti-American to be anti-traitors. Okay? Mm-hmm. 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 Some of you, I'm just blocking you without even like acknowledging you. So understand that. Okay? Yeah. Oh, that's weird. What's tracking? Why is Epstein? Mm, 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 Here's a little preview of the Epstein files for you I found. If somebody wants to verify this for me, any internet sleuths home? Part of Indiana you're from? I live on the east side of Indianapolis. I live in Lawrence. People appreciate info and POV, but not ranting. Disneyac, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Let me look at your account, okay? Let me look at your account real quick. Uh, no. No, 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 no. So one thing you don't do is you don't take advice from people that don't have anything to give you, okay? So I don't, what? Yeah, yeah, Jilly was like, I blocked him already. Oh man, East Side Nap? Hell yeah, bro. I used to go to, the Fort Bend YMCA every morning at 5 a.m. when they open for years when I bought this house. I started coaching high school football, and 2 years ago I was at Purdue Poly out of Broad Ripple High School, and this past year I was at Traders Point. My head coach went from head coach at a first year program to head coach at a private Christian school, and that's where he wants to retire. So of course he wanted to take me with him. So I'm a associate head coach. I'm also the team's consultant. So a lot of football teams, they don't have someone whose football acumen is higher than the head coaches. And that guy's not in charge. Okay? So my head coach has 20 years of fucking experience, and he's also a teacher, and he's also the head coach. But he consults with me. He comes to me and asks me to watch our film, watch our practice, tell us how to practice, tell us what we're doing wrong in the games, what I'm doing wrong on offense, on defense, like tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can fix it. And for the record, there's measurable improvement in 1 week after a conversation. He lost the game 12-6, and the next week he won 62-12. So when I have conversations with football coaches after having watched your film and watched your practice, and I know what's going on, we can flip a script real fast and in a hurry. To the degree that now we have identified a player on our team that belongs at the next level. Okay, you don't do that when you're not an effective play caller. Okay, followers from Broadable, fuck yeah. You know what pissed me off? I started coaching high school sports, and I have Mamba mentality, right? Like if you really want it, you got to really work hard and shit. And so for my first year coaching high school sports, I was at Broad Ripple High School every morning at 6 a.m., 6 days a week for the whole year. And that gym, that like high school basketball, classic basketball court, empty, lights off. The only people that ever used it was myself and the football team the whole year. It was one of those crazy experiences where this is a historical site, right? Broad Ripple High School in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana is a historical site. So for no one to be using that ever, not even the basketball players, it took until the basketball team was bad for kids to show up. For kids to show up and want to lift weights and want to be better athletes and shit. Mm-hmm. Would you want to search on Epstein? So I sent you that XCOM of the preview of the Epstein files from Twitter, and I was trying to verify based on the case information at the top of the picture. You can see read the preview right in that Twitter. But if you look at the top of the page, it has case number, and it's like, hey, is any internet sleuths know how to get into that system? There's a case number. I There's a case number in that file. I know somebody's brain just exploded where they were like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. Somebody posted in response to somebody else, here's a preview of those Epstein files. And if you read the preview, and you can read a bunch of shit about Epstein and Donald Trump and underage girls and all kinds of horrible shit, I posted it in the chat. Let me get it for you. Okay, it's right here. Okay, I'll put it back in the chat. I'm gonna put it back in the chat. Okay, so right here, okay, that x.com, the trace 818. Click that link and case 5:16 CV 009. Hold on, back up. CV 00797 DMG KSMB S. Okay? Okay? And for those people that are brainwashed and are like Donald Trump and Epstein don't have anything to do with each other, I'm going to read this. We're going to have to reset this because we're definitely going to get hit. But I'm going to read this to you. This is one page of the Epstein files. I'm going to read it to you. On the third occasion involving the defendant, fuck Donald Trump, the plaintiff, Katie Johnson, was forced to engage in an unnatural lesbian schmex act with her fellow minor and schmex slave, Maria Doe, age 12. For the schmexual enjoyment of fuck Donald Trump. After this schmex act, both minors were forced to orally copulate fuck Donald Trump by placing their mouths simultaneously on his erect penis until he achieved schmexual schmorgasm. After zipping up his pants, these were minors, 12 years old. But after zipping up his pants, defendant Trump physically pushed both minors away while angrily berating them for the poor quality of their sexual performance. I don't want to ever hear they didn't know each other ever the fuck again, because Epstein arranged this. Do you understand that? They didn't just know each other. They didn't just know each other. Epstein arranged this. There's a difference between knowing each other and arranging this. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. The case file is listed. The case number's listed. Like here's the thing. So when I first got on TikTok, okay? So I'm going to tell you this. Because treason's what they're after. People keep asking like how come he didn't ever get in trouble, and it's like treason. Treason's the charge, okay? That's why, hey, mother trucker, that's why I keep telling people, okay? If you want to see all of the links that I post, you need to click the link in my bio and go to my YouTube channel. I also co-stream this show live every day. This is Christmas Day, okay? Every day, you could just be in the YouTube chat and click the links, or TikTok's going to keep suppressing this information. President-elect isn't a job. It's not a job. You don't get anything for this. He didn't sign the transition paperwork. He's not getting money from the Fed to transition. Oh, by the way, his appointees aren't passing FBI background checks. He hasn't signed the ethics agreement. Hasn't signed the emoluments clause. Okay? But to sit here and act like you can't see the connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, I think this case file sticks out like a sore thumb. Here, take a picture with your phone. There you go. You can just see it. All of it. Okay? You can just see it. All of it. See that? Yeah? Yeah, you can just see it. All of it. Okay? Okay? That's in the public. That's in the public eye, honey. 14th Amendment, Article 3. There's actually multiple uses for it. Donald Trump's also committed treason multiple times. And understand that you can go look at my content. Look at all the times I've said that, and it's still up. No. Here's what's funny about this war that is being threatened if Donald Trump isn't president. Okay. Executive Order 13848 makes election crimes triable by the DOJ, which means Congress can't step in, SCOTUS can't intervene. Okay? One of the things that I've learned in my research is that election crimes break anti corruption laws, which is RICO, racketeering, and international organized crime. That's how you get a RICO. And you know what I found out about RICOs? There's a reason why those are important. Do you know what happens when you get a RICO? Stiffer penalties, longer sentences, asset forfeiture. So there's all these billionaires that have breaking the law, thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want. Okay? And it's coming. Justice is coming. There's a reason we call it Justice's waiting room. Yep. People come in here and try to razz me. I'm tough. I'm tougher than you. Your words don't do anything. They don't do anything to me. Okay? My life's bigger than your life will ever be. Don't ever think you're going to come in here and step on my toes. I'm a motherfucking dinosaur. A fucking massive T-Rex. You're a little bird. I'm T-Rex with glasses on and a book in his hand at the wand. You know what I mean? I'm gonna need somebody to draw that shit. Yeah, make sure that you follow me here. I think he knows he's going down. Yeah, I think he knew. I think he knew at the lunch at the White House. Okay. Uh, Dr. Bob Fanboy. I'm actually looking for a job. Um, I haven't said anything publicly because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. 2024 is probably like the worst professional year of my life, and I've never spoken on it. So now we're gonna talk about it. Okay. Um, so by trade, after COVID hit, I got into insurance. And I started by going to my insurance agent's office, okay, and being like, hey, what am I supposed to do? COVID, all that shit is going to be crazy. By the way, was I right or was I right? Like a million plus, you know what I mean? Like tons of people have died as a result of COVID, right? I went to my insurance and I sat with my insurance agent and I was like, what do I do? And before I left that meeting, he was like, I'm hiring you. I'm paying for your licenses. You're going to run this agency. Now, he had an office manager. He needed a GM. He has a special needs kid at home that he needs to be an at home daddy for. And I came in there for the first 9 months of my employment there and ran that fucking agency, including advertising, hiring people, firing them, training them, working with people that you hired, get working in the community. And what happened that whole time is other agencies kept reaching out to me and telling me you should just have your own agency. Okay? No, 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 Barry. Now, here's what you don't do. You can attack arguments, but you aren't going to attack my character. You understand? That's one thing you're not going to do. Okay? Because I'm using hard information to make my assertions. And if you get on here and you're telling me that I'm not being honest, you're just delusional because you're not willing to do the work. So don't come at me like that. No. So anyway, I was talking about insurance. So I kept getting phone calls, come work, Allstate, Farmers, um, Goosehead, come work for those companies. But all those companies wanted a significant amount of money up front to take on an agency, and I told them all, with the economy, you can miss me with that six figure fee to start an agency. Call me back when it's free. Deadass. Call me back when it costs me nothing to start a franchise. And for everyone out there that's like, well, that was stupid. That didn't get you anywhere. You just ruined your relationship with multiple insurance companies. Two of them came back within 3 months and offered me an agency for free. So I chose Allstate and I started an Allstate agency out of my house within 1 year of COVID. And the problem was, Allstate is very hands off. There's not very good communication when you started an agency for free. You don't have a lot of support. It kind of is what it is. So what I did is I did 6 months. I did exactly what I set out to do mentally. I'm going to work really hard for 6 months. And what was happening after 6 months is I was winning business 3% of the time, which is not sustainable. Most of my customers were people that liked me, not people that are sending that were saving money. No, Allstate also didn't have a better product line. In fact, we were getting beat all over the place. And it's just because Allstate didn't lower their prices like State Farm did when COVID hit. Just so everyone knows, State Farm is where you want to be, okay? And if you can't be there, you're probably paying more somewhere else. And how do I know that? Because there's a standard of how much you charge for insurance, and how much you charge for your insurance is based on how you treat people. So if you aren't with State Farm, you're paying more somewhere else, and the reason you're paying more is because they are required to charge that. You're welcome. So went to work for Allstate, did 6 months. I think I did 2,300 um, conversations where I gave someone an estimate for insurance, and I was only winning business on 3% of those. And you got to understand, you're going to close more than 3% of that business, right? On a 3% winning business, but I'm not closing the all of those people that I'm winning them money. So you understand, when you aren't regularly saving people money, and the people that you're saving money aren't 100% to buy, you are in a bad spot. So what happened is that I went from owning an Allstate agency. I cut bait before it became like spend a bunch of money to get into yeah, hey, somebody in my YouTube chat says she was also an Allstate agent during COVID and their communication was terrible. Okay. So what happened is that I started getting questions from people about Medicare, and I got approached. My best friend, he and I have worked at places for over a decade together. He contacted me and said, "Do you have any interest in helping people with their health care?" And I'd never worked in healthcare. Um, yeah, four notable Biden bills. Yeah, Brasher, but there were supposed to be 50. So unless we're calling the 37 death penalty people on death row that we commuted, where are the other 46 fucking bills? All 50? Okay, interesting. Y'all want to hear some shit? Chris said, "Can Biden do anything when it's 14th Amendment Article 3? It's coming." There's actually multiple interpretations that lead to disqualification that he wears like a badge. It's like a scarlet letter. I forgot to finish that, okay? So Donald Trump has to wear disqualification like a badge. It's permanent. The only way to get rid of that disqualification is if both the House and the Senate by 2/3 majority vote to remove the disqualification, the badge, remove the scarlet letter, okay? And we both know Democrats ain't doing that shit. So you ain't getting like half the Democrats to be like, yeah, Donald Trump's fine. No, that ain't happening. And you got to do it twice, okay? So Donald Trump is like double disqualified. Like that shit is not happening. Okay. Now people want to ask. Betsy said I have my health license and a degree in healthcare management business. Yeah. Yeah. So long story short, what news are we discussing? It's kind of wild. But yeah, we were talking about the bills. What bills? I should finish the other fucking thing first. Right? I should finish the other fucking story first. Okay. So we were. No, I forgot. So I'm just going to go back to this. All right. So S932 makes members of Congress who are convicted of public corruption crimes ineligible to receive retirement payments. Okay. It's called the No Corruption Act. Then there's S2513, involves the Department of Veterans Affairs medical disability examinations for benefit claims. And under this law, certain VA procedures are updated, such as the VA no longer having to publish certain forms that the agency determines the forms could not reasonably be completed by someone who isn't an employee of the VA. Further changes include requiring the VA to report on efforts to reimburse veterans who travel to a facility for a medical disability exam to receive VA benefits, as well as implementing outreach programs for veterans to help them get medical disability examinations. You're welcome. My reading is fucking pristine. You're welcome. You're welcome. I had great teachers. I've had a lot of them. S4716 increases federal oversight of single audits submitted by certain recipients of federal awards, including grants, federal financial assistance, and federal cost reimbursement contracts. That's financial management. The law requires the Office of Management and Budget designates at least one federal agency to conduct a government-wide analysis of a single audit quality. That's pretty important. And then the SHARE Act, HR 9566, requires federal agencies to ensure that any custom-developed source code is owned by the respective agency, stored at no less than one repository, and accessible to federal employees. This does not apply to source code that is classified or developed mainly for national security. Oh, that's important. The SHARE Act. It's important. It's a law. Got to share that source code for those election machines. It's a law now. So those are just a handful. Oh, what is this? What is this? Does it list all 50? Does this list all 50? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, yeah, we found that before fucking noon. Thank you to Brasher in my chat for this. You're welcome. This is what happens when you have a team of people working for you that have your best interest at all times. They're going to find what you was looking for. So there's the link to all 50 bills. Oh, wow. Let's go through that. The Native American Child Protection Act. H.R. 663 revises the Indian Child Abuse Treatment Grant Program. H.R. 1097, the Congressional Gold Medal, awards a Congressional Gold Medal to Commander Everett Alvarez Jr., veteran of the Vietnam War, was the first U.S. pilot to be shot down and captured during the war. H.R. 1607, the Salt River Project. H.R. 1727, the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. H.R. 2468, the Mountain View Corridor Completion Act. H.R. 3254, the First Responder Equipment. H.R. 3324, the Shasta Trinity Marina Fees. Paperwork Burden Reduction Act. Employer Reporting Improvement Act. Great Salt Lake Stewardship. Drought Preparedness. Hey, that seems like an important one. HR 4385, that seems important. Yeah. Let's see. DHS Border Service contractors eliminating useful support, stop campus hazing, water data improvement, Fort McHenry National Movement Hearts Act. Let's see. Atchafalaya National Heritage Area. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that, please. That looks like Atchafalaya. The Emerging Mental Services Children, North End District of Alabama, the Autism Cares Acts, the Utah State Parks, GSA Technology Accountability. Wait. Huh. Colorado River Salinity, Lahaina, National Heritage Area in Hawaii, Land Conveyance, Detect Fentanyl and Xylazine, Shared Act, Chance to Compete Act. Requires federal agencies to use technical assessments to fill most positions unless otherwise deemed practical. Controlled Substances Act makes technical corrections to definitions in the Controlled Substances Act. I wonder what they did in that, huh? Somebody look up S223, the Controlled Substances Act. Tell me what changes were made. It says technical corrections. I wonder if they reclassified marijuana. Somebody works in the government in one of my chats. You know, I got like 10 minutes left. All we're doing is going through all 50 fucking bills. Federal Agency Performance Act, the Beagle Brigade Act, the No Corruption Act. That's important. There are a lot of current elected officials who this No Corruption Act is going to apply to. Yeah. Brasher says they wonder if they're prepping for federal legalization. Yeah, of course. They're having to restructure the document. Like I couldn't even. There weren't even notes on when I clicked on that act. There weren't even notes to see the changes. And it says they made like technical definition changes, and it's like, you know, technically marijuana is defined as a Schedule 1 drug. So like, if you really want to talk about technical definitions, like Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, the Working Dog Welfare Act, Veterans Benefits, Never Again Education Act. Oh, expanded educational programming of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. What's 223? S223, the Controlled Substances Act. We want to know what changes were made to technical definitions in S223. Okay. The Jenna Quinn Law, Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, Working Dog Welfare, Veterans Benefits, Never Again Education. Sorry, we're going over some shit. All right, so Conservation Enhancement, Chronic Wasting Disease Task Force, Medical Wetlands, National Fish, Chesapeake Bay. Jamal Indian Village Land Transfer Act, 160 acres of land in San Diego into a trust for the Jamul Indian Village of California. Oh wow, be part of the tribe's reservation. Hey, that's cool. Desmond D. Doss designates outpatient clinic of the VA in Lynchburg, VA as private first class Desmond T. Doss VA clinic. Okay, it's a Medal of Honor winner. Bill Waugh, something about a post office, transportation security screening, federal judiciary stabilizations. Converts certain temporary district courts judgeships to permanent positions in judicial districts in Alabama, Arizona, California, Florida, Hawaii, Kansas, Missouri, New Mexico, North Carolina, and Texas. S3998. Seems pretty important. Dianne Feinstein designates a U.S. Postal Service location in San Fran as Dianne Feinstein Post Office. Think Differently Transportation Act. Oh, sweet. So the Think Differently Transportation Act requires Amtrak to include an action plan in the report about bringing its stations into compliance with the ADA. S4610 makes bald eagle the American animal or whatever. National bird. Sorry, American Animal. The S4716 Financial Management Act, something to do with audits. James Mountain Inhofe Improvement Act. So hey, I don't think that was 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. It was 50. That was all 50 bills. So that link's great. How about Click Orlando? You know how fucked up world we live in? The President of the United States signed 50 bills into law last night, and the only website you can get on and see all 50 bills is fucking clickorlando.com. You wonder why I'm here every single day talking about the news and shit. Like, look at mainstream media not talking about any of this shit. Not talking about how 6 days ago, changes were made to Executive Order 13848 that affected U.S. Code 50, Chapter 35, Section 1710, confronting malicious cyber attacks. And oh, by the way, Interpol, in conjunction with the UN yesterday, posts we have established the first ever UN resolution regarding cybercrime. I think that's fucking significant. Local news sources are the best. It's where the real news is. Hell yeah. Okay. So, hey, we have been live an hour and 26 minutes. We'll spend a few more minutes. Okay. Here's what we're going to do we're going to refresh archives.gov. Okay. Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. So just know, okay? Just know it's 12:30 in the afternoon on Christmas Day, which from what I understand is the day that it's due. The day you were supposed to like finalize your certification. And it's 12:30 Eastern. And those two states have not certified. Okay? So I don't know about you, hell of a show. Hell of a show. Okay? Tons of stuff going on today. Okay? And remember, unlike every other podcast you've ever listened to that uses music, I'm not going to make you listen to music. Okay? I'm not going to hurt your ears. I'm just going to post the link, okay, in the chat to Aerosmith's Eat the Rich. Okay? So start on War, end on Eat the Rich. In case anybody wondered what flavor of podcast is this? Start on War, end on Eat the Rich. It's a no key ho. I eat baby, but the wrong key ho. Yo. All right. Connecticut elected official is really outspoken about what's going on. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump, or not Donald Trump, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris still at the White House. That's a trick. I'm sick of y'all complaining about how many bills. I'm sick of all your bitching, beauties and your thrills. Sick of the future about your way of life. I'm gonna do more for you and it's your fucking life. Eat the rich. Somebody asked, food for thought, does a bear bake brownies in the forest? That's what I'm talking about, baby. Eat the rich. Okay. So, like I said, we start every show on war and on Eat the Rich. Okay. Merry Christmas. Have a great day. I'm not playing you music. I'll put the link in the comments. You can go listen to that on your own. I'm not trying to force you to listen to anything. Okay. Okay. If you're going to make a post and it contains content from my podcast, I would appreciate if you tag me, because otherwise, if you receive a lawsuit for the content you put out and you didn't tag me in the original post, I'm not legally responsible to protect you or show you my sources or help you in any way. So you can keep biting my content, and when you run into the law, I'm no good to you. I already blocked you because you stole from me. So I'm not going to help you. Okay? So that's the real problem with stealing my premise, is that my account is small enough that I can have a couple hundred people in my live, 10, 20 people in my YouTube podcast. I ain't hurting anyone by telling the truth here. Okay? But you make sure that you attribute that work to me. Otherwise, when the hammer drops on you, don't come to me for help. I'm not going to help you if you stole from me. Okay? And you make sure you let all them people know. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, y'all.